How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Pixelated Thoughts. It is Jack and Brad today. Chibi said that she wanted to go make dumplings, so I guess we're just gonna go let her do that. Today's episode is gonna be about the Switch 2. It's been a couple weeks since the Switch 2 was actually announced. We know that it felt like Nintendo begrudgingly put out a trailer for the Switch 2, essentially just showing off its design, confirming its existence, and we're gonna have thoughts on that. And then I think April is when they're actually going to do a deep dive or a Nintendo Connect on the Switch 2, and we're assuming it's going to release sometime this year. But I do want to get everyone's thoughts, and we'll start with Jack with, like, what did you think when you first saw the announcement, Jack? Were you, like, just saying, finally? Like, what were we expecting?
I mean, I wasn't expecting much. I figured it was going to look the same.
True.
I do like that it's a bit more rounded, if that makes any sense. Like there's no hard edges. It's
Oh, yeah.
um
Did you
the
like the Joy-Con nubs?
No.
Did you see the connector, how it's connected now? It's pretty much,
Uh-uh.
so instead of like sliding off, you actually have essentially ports.
Oh yeah. And there's speculation that that's going to be magnetic.
Oh, really?
But I don't see how that's going to be the structure of that is going to be good because the sliding mechanism keeps it from wiggling.
Right.
If you get a magnetic and just connect, then I don't, how stable is that connection going to be?
How long is it going to
Unless
last?
you have some, yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? Because like
Forever.
I've had the Switch now for 7 years now,
Yeah,
and I've
frustrating.
literally only bought. We just bought new Joy Cons for Mario Party. But yeah, no, they work. Like I love that sliding mechanism. I've had the normal ugly ass gray Joy-Con color.
Yeah.
It's not a good color. Yeah, but when I was watching the video, I was like, okay, so obviously the screen's bigger, right?
Yeah.
Like then when I saw like the Joy-Con stuff, I was like, I don't really like that part of the design. That part looks like it's easily breakable. And then if it is
hmm
magnetic, like you're saying, if that is true, it's like, how long is that going to last for? Like, because Joy-Cons are expensive. I think
Oh
they're
yeah.
$70, maybe more.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the Joy-Con 2s are going to cost. Um, I think I'm fairly certain it's going to be an OLED screen. It'd be crazy not to be, right? Because
I don't know. I've been reading that they're going back to the LCD.
no. Ooh. I mean, that's not bad. I don't listen. My Switch is old, right? That is not the OLED. I was tempted to buy it, but then I was like, I only play this on occasion, and me and Brad have talked about this. Like we've kind of put the Switch away because we're just waiting for the either an updated port or dock or the Switch 2. But no, I do agree with like what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do like the rounded design of it.
Yeah, the rounded design does look really good. I do like that it's a little bit bigger. What's the current screen's what, 5.5?
Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be possibly an 8.
Yeah, no, I think it's like that's almost either the Legion or is it the Legion, Brad, or the Lenovo? It's like 8 inches. Like these.
The Legion, I think it's like 8.8 inches.
Yeah.
It's all about screen ratio, so it can either be 8 or 8.9, like due to the pixel,
Yeah.
16:9, whatever. But
Brad, what did you think? I really am curious because you're more of a
okay, so I hate teaser trailers. Just first off, I do get that everything was leaked. I think Nintendo should have just leaked more things. Like I think they should have just kept feeding the mill, and even teased the April announcement, right? Like they should have just kept going with it.
Dude, they teased Mario Kart 8, bro. Like, what more do you want?
Okay,
Right.
so I don't like the Joy-Con shape. I think the original Joy-Cons are awful. Like one of the worst ergonomic handhelds. I just hate how bad it is.
What do you
I've got
mean?
like
Are you mean by like by themselves when you like unhook them and stuff like that, or do you mean like
no, just like
just the way they
just
feel?
where just the layout, like just how vertical cramped they are. I don't like any of it. I have so many third party attachable Joy-Cons just because, or replacement Joy-Cons just because of that. I hate the sliding mechanism of the old ones, so I'm glad they got rid of that. I have 3 pair of Joy-Cons because the first 2 pair, at least one side or the other, the locking mechanism just stops working in it. And when you're playing the fitness game, the ring fitness
Yeah.
thing, if you don't have a Joy-Con that locks when you're using that thing, you just sling it across the room 2 or 3 times per session, which is not cool. So I actually do it now. When you say it's going to be magnetic and it slides in place, now the colored part of that insert, if it goes in far enough, I think there will not be any issue of wobble, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it also could be just really strong magnets, but the way that it looks, I think,
But how do
you know,
magnets work?
um,
Are
and
they
I'm
they
sure
real?
I'm sure the extra button is the magnet button. So you just press that button, it's like electromagnetic. Like it
Yeah,
really
right.
really just
It just shocks you. Fuck.
it's so magnetic you can just like place it on the wall. Play it.
Oh,
It's
It's like you
crazy.
have a
that would
pacemaker
be
trying to play the Switch too.
that would be the greatest thing if they're like, yeah, so not only can this magnet, like, it brings the Joy-Cons together to the console, but you can put it on your fridge. It's like, what the fuck?
um, I
I
do
was
appreciate the
wrong.
larger screen.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the larger screen. I do like the accent colors. I'm not a big fan of the pastel colors, but I do like the accent color.
Right.
Just gives it a little something.
Little
Um,
oomph.
I do like the new kickstand because the first kickstand was a terrible attempt. I don't know who authorized that attempt of a
Yeah,
And
kickstand.
so
it's
so you
nice.
guys actually use the kickstand? I've never used it before.
I well,
I mm,
so for the longest time, I actually had a battery pack attached to it, and it just like clamped down on it, and it had its own kickstand. So that's what I used if I ever used it that way.
For anyone who's watching this, Brad's a real gamer. Okay. Like this dude will buy shit just to have it. Like
Yeah,
he
I
goes hard as shit.
that was actually an Indiegogo thing. Because I there for the first 2 or 3 years, I played my Switch almost nonstop. I brought it to work when I worked in the IT department. Like all of the the help desk people would just play Mario Kart together or Smash Brothers while we weren't doing anything. So I mean, it's a valuable. I think the Switch 2 will be cool. I just with that trailer, just it doesn't really show a whole lot. They tease like there might be some type of mouse controller effect to it with a laser pointer thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a
I
lot of
ex-
speculation.
I think I expect like what Nintendo is going to do is you're going to have better motion controls, probably a little sharper in that regard. I so I've said this before. Like I think that when the Wii U failed, right, it was essentially a prototype for the Switch, and I think that with the Switch's success, and I don't know what the number is right now, but I think it's like over 100 some odd million sold. Um, and and like even like last year, it was still like charting. I think like second place because Xbox is not a fucking market their console. But the way the Switch has just like been such a model of consistency for Nintendo, I would not be shocked if it's just like technology wise, not necessarily like a leap. You know what I mean? But I think it's going to be a big step up. So with that said, I do want to talk about our wish list for the Switch 2. Now, Jack, are you looking at the specs right now, like what was leaked, or do you have it up right now?
I have a
Because when I start talking about my wish list, because I want to go first, like essentially I have like two things basically, right? The first is, and Brad knows this. I want this to be like it's been 8 years, right, ish. I want this to be like a significant leap in terms of visual fidelity. Like I love the Switch. I think Nintendo is amazing with their first party stuff. I know they acquired Monolith to ensure that they could really maximize that system, which is why Xenoblade Chronicles 3 can actually run on the Switch and not fucking explode, right? But I think that we've gotten to the point where you're seeing games that are really innovative like Tears of the Kingdom or really fantastical like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like their scale is amazing, but it just struggles to run. And the smearing and screen tearing and all the pop-up stuff, it's like super distracting. I mean, if you want to throw in that Pokemon, one of the Pokemon games from Niantic that was like really really ugly, that people really harshly criticized, right? You can do that. Yeah, you can do that too. But it's like I expect this to be like a leap. So that's like my first thing. Secondly, I do not want, because I know it's been confirmed that Switch games will play on the Switch 2. I do not want remasters for the Switch 2. I don't. Like, zero. I don't want Switch 2 remasters or remakes. If it can emulate Switch 1 games, like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, your entire back catalog, what I want is performance boosts. There should be no excuse for why Tears of the Kingdom or any of these other games cannot run better. Like, full stop. You got like I said, Nintendo's first party makes incredible games. They knock it out of the park. They've had this great system in which it's like 3 big releases a year, and then the next year it's like 10 minor ones, but everything they put out is essentially of a fairly high quality. We're now at that point where I'm like, look, man, I really think, and I think Brad, you agree with me on this. Some of their games were really held back because essentially the Switch 2 hardware just couldn't do anything with it. And I think Nintendo has left money on the table because a lot of third party publishers and studios can't run their games on the Switch. So for me, it's like one, the Switch 2 needs to be like a leap in terms of visual fidelity, and then two, I don't want to see remasters because like Nintendo has this nasty fucking habit of taking like Wii U games, like I think it was like Donkey Kong's Tropical Freeze, right? And then they pretty much essentially just ported it to the Switch and then charged you $60. I don't want to see a $10 like, hey, for $10 you get the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom. None of that stuff. I just want performance boosts across the board for every single game because Nintendo essentially confirmed that emulation is legal. No longer should they sue Dolphin or whatever other emulators out there because they're doing it too, right, with their stuff. But that's basically my top 2 on the wish list. All right, Jack, what do you have? What do you want for the Switch 2? And you can be more like technical if you want. I know what Brad's gonna say because I left it out, but I just want like performance boost.
Yeah, performance boost would be nice. And I know we all have talked about the docking station having 4K capabilities.
Dude, I think we just said bare minimum 1080. What is it right now, Brad? Like honestly, what is the
The OLED is 1080, isn't it?
Yeah. So docked it is 1080. In handheld mode it is 720.
Right.
I don't think there's any official. I mean, there's obviously a crap ton of leaks for the Switch 2, but I don't think there's any confirmation of really anything hardware wise.
I think
there's a lot of rumors, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had rumors. They had rumors about the PS5 Pro, and like they nailed it. They practically nailed everything. Even though Sony doesn't include teraflops anymore. When Mark Cerny had, he's the architect for the PS5. When he actually did the deep dive for the PS5 Pro, pretty much everything that had been leaked about the Pro was confirmed. So my assumption is like that's why Nintendo was probably so pressed and pissed off, and they put out a lot of like warnings to leakers and stuff like that, saying like, hey, like we're not fucking cool with this, and knowing Nintendo, they will push legal action. So I assume that a lot of stuff that's been put out is accurate right now.
I mean, that's fair. Sorry, I'll let Jack continue. I don't want to.
Oh, no interrupt. Worries. No worries. I don't really have much that I ask for. I want more than just Mario. I don't know. I know Mario's a big.
Oh, you mean for like
launch? Is the face of.
You mean for like launch titles?
Nintendo. Yeah.
I have a theory. Like, I think one of the games that's going to be a launch title is Metroid Prime 4. I honestly,
I hope so,
dude. Yeah. So like, my whole thing was that when they showed off Metroid Prime 4, my brain immediately went, "That's not running on the Switch."
Right.
I was like, "There's no fucking way it's running on the Switch. That looks way too good to run on the Switch." I assumed that
we just got Dread instead.
We got Dread instead. Dread's not a bad game, dude. It's just, some of it just didn't look great. I think there are certain games that they are absolutely going to push out for the Switch 2 because I don't know if they've actually, and that's the crazy thing about Nintendo is that they just don't announce anything until like a direct comes up, but they're so consistent with the when the directs actually happen, that I think Nintendo's just like, yeah, we're just gonna release it when we can. Like you'll know about it. It's gonna be out there in the ether. But I do think like Metroid Prime 4 definitely should be with 100% should be a Switch 2, not a Switch 2 release. What do you call it? Release game.
Yeah.
I hope. I assume that they're probably I remember when was it the Switch came out and they had like the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild, and then they had the Switch version, and I was like, okay. I assume something like that's gonna happen, right? Where they will, like I said, I don't want remastered shit, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna pull something out. Maybe. But with like
streaming edition.
Yeah, with like Mario, I would assume you're gonna have a Mario title. There's probably something.
Well, in the preview, in the trailer, it's they had Mario Kart.
Bro, it's gonna be it's gonna be funny, and this is gonna be it's gonna be fucked up. I really think that's just Mario Kart 8. Like it's not a new Mario Kart. It's just like
it's one of my.
It's just another map theories that they add to their online.
It's just a remaster. It's a remaster. It is Mario Kart 8 remaster.
That's Mario Kart 8.5 plus the infinite fucking pass or whatever it is. Because if you think about it, Mario Kart really doesn't have to have another release, because 8 is considered by a lot of people to be the perfect Mario Kart game, right? And then you have an entire backlog of all these different racetracks.
Double Dash was better, but it's whatever.
Chill, bro. No one fucking played Double Dash. No one had a GameCube but you and me, Brad. But yeah, my expectation is like, Mario Kart's gonna be one of them. Like, if it's, I highly doubt it's gonna be 8. I think like you might see it included in the Switch 2, which would be kind of disappointing for a lot of people, because I think everyone who owns a Switch pretty much has Mario Kart 8.
Oh yeah.
Like the like, if you think about it, Nintendo's kind of like its own captive market. Basically, if you own a Switch, you essentially own almost every major first party title for the Switch, right? I'm thinking like Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart. I think it would be kind of wild to see a new Animal Crossing, right? Just like randomly out of the blue. But
they're due for it.
Yeah, that's true. They are due for it. Like I do think like they're gonna do something with like Legend of Zelda, maybe. But I think it's more like maybe they have like a Link to the Past or like Wind Waker. Wind Waker 4K edition for Switch 2. $70. Like, what the something, man. I would love like something crazy like a new Luigi's Mansion, that type of stuff. I'm hoping that Nintendo goes all out for it's the Switch 2's like release, like they have like 10 launch games. That'd be pretty insane.
That'd be nice.
But yeah, is that all you got, Jack? You just want like something different, please. Bring back Kid Icarus. Like, get this fucker out of here.
Yeah, I mean,
who the fuck plays that?
Besides aesthetics, it's if you have the same games, then there's really nothing new about it.
They're gonna have some like new, motion control game. What was it was a 1-2-3 switch, was it? Or 1-2 switch? What was it called, Brad?
1-2 switch.
I know you have it.
So a friend of mine had it, and the reason why I didn't get it, I was like, this is like just a tech. I mean, it's obviously like a party type game, but I was like, this is just a tech demo. If it wasn't full price, I would have bought it day one, but it was like $60. And I'm just like, it's not what, like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be playing the Switch by myself. So I'm not going to sit here and go
by yourself.
Battle myself.
All right, partner, we're gonna shoot at each other. That's like the saddest like game of draw you've ever played and stuff like that. That would be tragic. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brad, give me your wish list.
All right. So luckily, with the recent popularity of handheld PCs, right? There's finally some competition. Now, Nintendo being Nintendo, they don't need to compete. It's just kind of their thing that they're like, we know everyone's going to buy our thing, so we really don't have to. But at least there's a little bit of pressure, right? There is some part of the market that, will be taken away by the, 10 other options. So I really hope that they do go all out, right? I really do hope that they're like, all right, now we have to step it up a little bit. Because It's been 8 years
That's what I'm saying. It's
now.
been like 8
Yeah.
years
It's
ish.
eight,
It's
Yeah.
9
bad.
years. Like, they've done 2 iterations. The light and the OLED, and
I don't
it did
even count
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, and it's like it did nothing to the experience other than just make it more convenient one way or the other,
Yeah.
right? Made it more convenient for children, or made it more convenient for, I don't know, people with bad eyes. I don't know what the OLED really did other than just make a brighter screen. Um,
It's like the Game Boy Light. Remember that?
Well, and that's what I'm saying about,
What an
being
asshole.
different. Like the aesthetics doesn't really change your gaming experience with it.
Brother,
It's
I'm telling you, like, Matt Piscatella, he is a financial analyst. He actually does a lot of work in the game industry. He used to work. They got renamed. I think it's like NPD, but they're not. They're called Circada. So they're this massive financial firm, and they operate a lot in the. They operate in the game industry and other areas. But basically, when they like asked him, like, what do you think the Switch 2 is going to sell for? So the MSRP is rumored to be $400. Now that could change based off certain external factors, right?
yeah.
But pretty much what he said, like, dude, they could charge $700 for this console, and people would buy it in a
Yeah.
fucking heartbeat.
it will be sold out everywhere,
And
and they will not sell it on sale.
No. Nintendo has straight up stated that the way they're getting ahead of this is by essentially mass producing Switch 2s. Like, they are going to meet demand. And I think that because it's so anticipated, and this is kind of like my argument against like what you were saying about, the competition. Nintendo owns the handhelds right now, right? And why they own it is because the price point, it's their price point, their marketing, their reliability, all that stuff. They own that shit. And you cannot play Nintendo Switch games anywhere else with the exception of like maybe someone putting on an emulator, right? But you're not getting the same experience because everyone else tries to kind of take that PC experience, right? The Nintendo is like, we're trying to be like an all-encompassing game console. Like we're talking like motion controls and all this other unique shit that they're trying to push together. And I think that like Nintendo knows it. That's why I've talked about this before. Nintendo has like this level of arrogance that I think no other console publisher has, because they know that with the popularity of the Switch and the fact that they've been in the gaming industry for, 100 years, because they started out making like card games and stuff like that, prior, they're essentially too big to fail. Like the Wii U was a bomb, dude. That would cripple most publishers, right? Nintendo's like, we'll like a year later we'll come out with the Switch and it's the hottest selling property. And that thing ran for 8 years. No matter how much people came out and said like, "Hey, it's been a while. It's been 6 years. What are we doing? Where's the Switch 2?" And Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo US, was like, "We're good." And me and Brad are like, "What do you mean you're good?" And he's like, "Yeah, shut up. Get back up, nerds." And then now that we've had all these different rumors, Switch 2's coming out. Like, I think if it sells at $400, which is going to be less than the Steam Deck, less than any other competitor, and if they have it at, let's say they have the LCD screen, right, but it's running at 1080p handheld, and then it's 4K docked, and it's running like PS4 Pro-esque ish graphics, right? Which means you could potentially see performance modes on games, which means you could see third parties port some of their stuff onto the Switch or Switch 2. Then everyone else is like, everyone who's like, the PC handheld market is probably sitting there like, well, what the fuck? Then what's the point? Because the Steam Deck is what's like $700, I think, for the normal one, and depending on like what the
Steam Deck, no, it's like 450.
450, but like
there's like 4 different versions of it.
But that's what I'm saying. But like the Steam
Yeah.
Deck doesn't offer you anything else except the being able to access your Steam library, right? Nintendo's like, well, you don't have shit from us except for emulators, but nobody runs Nintendo shit better than Nintendo. You're still not going to get that experience while playing on the Steam Deck.
I don't know. I'm seeing Steam Deck 1 terabyte OLED screen for $730 on Amazon.
Yeah. No,
And then the Asus ROG is $450.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about the generation. So there's multiple generations now of a lot
Right.
of the
Oh,
main
But-
ones. You can buy like the first edition Steam Deck, I think for like $350 now, but
Yeah.
the non OLED models I think are $450 or $500. But yeah,
all right.
once again we're splitting hairs. So that's the reason why the Steam Deck has kind of blown out the competition. It's just because they can sell it at whatever price they want to because they have a store to back it up.
Right.
Nintendo has the same way. Nintendo can sell it for whatever price they want to
Yeah.
because they have
Well,
a online library of 10 bajillion games, which I hope they get rid of half of for the Switch 2. I absolutely hate the Nintendo store, like with an absolute passion.
oh, the Nintendo store is terrible. That's not going to change though.
It's bad.
Right.
I know.
I mean, the Wii, the RAP ripped the Wii store, the Wii Nintendo store, which was I think pretty great. But like seriously, when I say this, like I'm not trying to disrespect what your thought process is, Brad, but Nintendo can do whatever the fuck they want, and we've been saying this for years. Like the Switch 2 is essentially like they could sell this shit for $1,000. People are gonna be fighting over it. Like they're people are gonna go broke. Or like I live in my car, bro, but I got my Switch 2. You know what I mean? Like we're good. I got this 1999 Pontiac. Like we're good. I got my Switch 2. Life is sweet. Like I seriously do think that like because you know Nintendo right now is kind of like Sony. They don't really need to like go into if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just build upon it. And I think that's basically I think they're going to do just enough to get third parties to publish on the Switch too. We all know. So if for those who have never played like a streaming Switch game like Doom, they don't run well. It's always like people are shocked that they do run. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think that changes because it essentially modernizes the Switch. Was it Kingdom?
Oh, was the no?
The
It was well, that one is streaming too. But when the Mortal Kombat, they were doing like side by sides from the console to the Switch, and it was like dog water. It was like just mud.
It was the cartoon version.
Yeah.
Of Mortal Kombat 1 where they were just missing a bunch of detail. But essentially, like I mean this, like Nintendo they know their audience. And the fact that like people know that the Switch is more than likely going to be a pretty high quality product and that Nintendo has been reliable when it comes to their games. Now, are they, the perfect publisher? No. Jack, you brought this up. Like their price point stuff is all finicky. It's all messed up. Like, and I've talked about this before. I mean, when a Nintendo game goes on sale, bro, like it can be like ARMS or Mario Tennis. Why is it only 10% off? Like this, no one's playing ARMS anymore in 2025. And if you are, I'm sorry for the one person who is. That's also going to be a ARMS 2. I'm looking forward to that on the Switch too. I swear it's going to happen, dude. Like Nintendo. They're gonna pull out obscure stuff, man. But yeah, it's not. I'm not trying to belay your point, Brad. But it's just like,
no. Like, so I agree. Nintendo has no competition. Like, I'm just hoping that there is competition, right? Like their competition perceives them as competition, not Nintendo perceives them as competition.
It would have to be Sony because they looked at the PlayStation Portal. It's outsold what their expectations were, but basically it's just like a remote play device, right? And apparently they're looking into, bringing back potentially like a Vita successor, right? And Brad loved the Vita. I love the Vita. It's a very underrated console, and but Sony did not at any fucking point support the damn thing like they should have. I don't know why. But yeah, like I agree. Like Nintendo just they don't see it. They're like, dude, we're the handheld market. You guys are PC handheld. We're console handheld. There's going to be that difference. Which is why like their approach to all these things have been so kind of like strange to you, right? It's like you have, I think if you buy, it's $14.99 or $12.99 to get Nintendo Internet, right? I think it is, and then
I think it's $14.99.
Yeah, I think it comes with the NES and whatever the
online
thing. Yeah, my bad. Nintendo Online, but then oh no, you do it. But then it's like I think you get the NES and SNES, right? But then, like,
if you pay like 20 or 30 or something
for the Game Boy Advance and
yeah, that's right, Nintendo 64.
Then you pay more.
Yeah.
And it's I pay for the like $4 one. I think it just gives me the Super Nintendo and original Nintendo.
But I paid for the big one to see what because
Right.
nowhere shows you what the games are
Until
in
you
those
log in, yeah.
until you actually buy it and log in.
Nint-
So I
Nint-
bought it just to see what they had for N64, and I mean, I liked what they had, but I'm not impressed.
Nintendo does not share the slogan of Missouri, the show me state. You know, it's like you buy, then you get in.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
buy, you come in. Don't worry about that stuff. But no, I don't disagree with you, Brad. What else you got for me?
So really my biggest wish list, and it is to blend that handheld and console experience, right? I do want an actual console experience, but I also want it to operate as a handheld better. And so there's going to be a NVIDIA chip in it, right? It's a custom NVIDIA chip that they have. So obviously there's going to be some stupid AI gimmick to it. And I really hope you're able to utilize that, right? Like you can say, I want it in like super power saving mode, and I want to go like, DLSS 7, uh, super performance or super, power save mode or whatever. And it looks terrible, but I can play it for 8 hours. Or I could throw it on the console and hit like the super quality button, and it actually upscale to 4K, because I am almost 100% positive it's not going to run well at 4K. So
You are
I'm sure
gonna
they'll have to
get
do some.
you're gonna get 30 frames per second, and you're gonna like it. I mean, I don't know what did they say Tears of the Kingdom ran at? It was like 25 frames, right? I think
Yeah,
like
something like that.
consistently. And then Xenoblade Chronicles was whatever it wanted to be. Jack, did you ever play the Xenoblade Chronicles games?
I did not.
They're practically the one game outside like Breath of the Wild, and I would say to a lesser extent Super Mario Odyssey,
Yeah.
where you can tell like they really wanted to go big in terms of scale. And Xenoblade has like some insane like cutscenes and things happening, and then you're trying to play it like, what is happening? Why is it so slow?
I mean, even Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there are many
dude.
moments where it's just like, "Brr." And that was at the beginning of the Switch
yeah
life cycle.
And so I mean that's what I'm saying though. Like if you're talking about Switch games being emulated, right? We're talking like you've essentially told me, or it's been rumored, but I think it's kind of I think it's really been confirmed. But it's like you're pretty much telling me right now that I do not need to buy old Switch games,
right?
Switch 2, which means I'm going to see significant performance boost, because like there's no way that Nintendo went into this and said, look, we know our guys who are just our designers, like they know the architecture, they know what we need to do, they know how we need to maximize and like boost some of these games up. I just want to see these games, like, because I've always loved Nintendo's art design. I think it's phenomenal. Like I'm shocked by like you could tell like there's like limitations when you see some of these games, but you know that their art design is so good and these teams work so hard. I just want to see like a No Man's Sky glow up, right? I don't know if anyone's seen the No Man's Sky Part 2 like trailer.
I heard it's much better.
Holy shit, dude, they are not playing with that thing. It looks amazing. They also showcase like their other new game that's going to come out. Dude, that's what I want. I want to be able to look at it and say like, "Oh my god, the performance on Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or Odyssey is like way better, and I'm not getting slowed down in certain parts where like something larger than the size of my thumb is on the screen." You know what I mean? Because that was the only issue I had with like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was like you go into a section and you're hoping you can make it through this really large bridge and kind of drop. You don't want to drop down because you feel like dropping down might brick your console, crash the game. That's like my hope, man. Like just make it more seamless, make it power. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about like, Brad, I think you have like the ambition. I want to know, where are you getting this ambitious like console?
No. And it's not like so
this man went AI. He's like, listen,
so I mean that's the thing nowadays. There's now the deep state, not deep state, deep seek AI.
We're gonna hit like all the conservatives, but you got dumb deep state.
Well, no. So it's just the NVIDIA being the AI gurus that
not anymore, buddy.
Yeah, well, exactly. But so it's like a hey, give me the option whether I want it to run well or look pretty, right? If you can't achieve both, give me the option, right? With the the PlayStations now do that
The PS5 Pro. So I just want to say I actually have a PS5 Pro. I bought one.
You
So,
would, of course. Yeah.
like, I shit you not, it actually does run games way better and smoother. Like, it's kind of insane. I was like, oh, this game kind of struggled to run in the PS5. Nah, the PS5 Pro, like, I was playing Dragon Age Velguard. I compared like screenshots I had, Brad, and I was like on my PS5. I was like, "Oh my god, why does the game look different? What happened to this game? Why is there more detail here?" And it runs at like 60 FPS with ray tracing. I was like, "What is happening?"
Or I don't know, change resolution. I mean, it could literally just be like a button, on the menu, just where it just swaps from performance to quality.
You want
whatever.
a modern console experience?
Yeah, I want something that, or if I'm using handheld, right? I want to be able to play it for more than 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
I'm not going to ask for too much. I'm not going to say I need it like 10 hours, but like I want
that is a lie. Like, he wouldn't bring
like,
that up if he didn't want it for like at least 8 hours. I want to sit there and not
it's
have it next to my charger and just like play.
I also don't want it to be 47 pounds either. So it's like I understand that there has to be a trade-off somewhere. I don't want to have like a backpack with a crane arm, to hold it. But it's just it's
Where are you getting that from?
I may have a backpack with a crate. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be amazing. I create this. I have a patent for it right
I
here.
I do have a backpack with a power strip in the bottom of it.
It's called the switch bag. It's like Nintendo immediately sues you.
There's like little thumbsticks on the straps. It's like presses it against your face.
He's a walking crane game. Like, what's happening right now?
I mean, this is once again. This is just I am pretty sure none of this is going to happen. But it's like I really do want just the like option. Just give me the ability to choose what experience I want. If you can't give it to me all, because I know the Switch 2 is going to be PS4 Pro esque. I that's one of my theories, that they just harvested all the old PlayStation hardware and they're just now recycling it. They're being economical.
That would be fucking well, we called Mark Cerny up. Mark Cerny, give me all your PS4 Pros.
From this Reddit post, some of the hardware they were posting is like the CPU is Cortex A78C, which is from 2020.
Right.
And then the GPU is an Ampere, which is from 2020. So they're not using the most
it's
current
hardware. What are we at? We're now Gen 8, I think, right? Generation 8 for consoles. So it's not going to be, like I said, it's not going to be PS5. But if it's PS4 Pro on a handheld, that's really good. That's excellent. Especially because I remember, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but the Wii U's like debut trailer was a Legend of Zelda demo, and that tech demo blew my mind. And I was like, oh my god, it's gonna like be comparable to the PS4 type stuff. And then they're like, yeah, so we're gonna have like, it's gonna have a lot of popping, guys. And I was like, you guys lied to me. How dare you betray me, bro?
Yeah, I
don't think anyone's but my thing is, like, I don't think anyone's gonna be disappointed if it is like PS4 Pro graphics or whatever, and if it doesn't have, Brad's ability to just completely change modes. I mean, you're hoping it does. You're hoping that, it's, and I've been thinking about this. I'm like, man, I can see myself being disappointed if it's not a visual leap, right? Like, I want to see at least a generation where more detail, 1080p, whatever, however the visual, like, I just want to see sharp visual fidelity. I want it to like wow me with like the next Zelda experience, the next Metroid Prime experience, next, whatever. I'm going to be really disappointed if it's really just like a slightly upgraded Switch, because I would be like, dude, you had 8 years to get this thing. Realistically 4, okay? So you had 4 years to like design what the successor to the Switch would be. It would be a waste, in my opinion, to not have it be at least a substantial visual upgrade, or at least boost in performance. I'm not saying 60 FPS for every game. You don't have to, obviously, right? Okay, 30 FPS is playable. But if your Switch games aren't significantly better on this game, on this new piece of hardware, I'm going to be kind of upset. just a little bit, right? But I assume it's going to perform better in handheld mode. I assume that the game's going to, once again, I think Switch games look really good on small screens. It's when you put them on the big screen and then it's just like, what did we do? Like, why did we do this? Like, what was the decision? If I don't know if the ports get, do they have specs on the dock, Jack, at all?
No.
If it's 4K, I would say I'm not expecting 4K. I would say like 1440p, which was that's fine. You know what I mean? But I would say like Brad, you have the most ambitious standards. I think me and Jex are kind of like the most realistic.
Well, it's a wish list. It's a wish list.
It's a wish list, but I don't disagree with that sentiment because I really think that a lot of people are expecting a lot from Nintendo. But then again, these are the guys who created the Labo, which was the cardboard VR. So I don't know why anyone is expecting.
I'm going to be super mad if the Switch 2 doesn't support that because I'm going to be.
Yeah, do you have the Labo? Do not.
No, I don't. One of them did look pretty cool, but I was like, nah, pass on that.
But like I think like realistically, just boost in performance would be very, very much appreciated, and the fact that we're getting the best versions of these games finally because should Fire Emblem's Three Houses struggle to run on the Switch? Right? Like, should Fire Emblem struggle to run on the Switch? It shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
If your turn-based game is struggling, you have issues.
You have problems, right? I mean, and I know that there are probably third-party publishers who are pissed off because they're losing so much money because there's an audience that's like strictly Nintendo and they want to help bring their game to that audience, but they can't do it because, whatever. And I assume there's going to be like different Wi-Fi upgrades and shit like that, like the new systems. Was it Wi-Fi 6 or whatever? I think that's what Sony uses now. But it would be funny if it was like it's the handheld Xbox Series S.
So
that's actually one of my conspiracies.
Oh,
somebody is speculating that docked it's going to be around Xbox Series S, which handheld midway between PS4 and PS4 Pro.
Let's be honest, if that is true, that is a substantial upgrade for the Switch.
Oh, that's a big upgrade. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And I think Nintendo's got to realize, like, dude, when they acquired Monolith, and Brad and I had talked about this. They're the guys who initially made Xenoblade Chronicles. We're like, why'd they acquire? Nintendo doesn't really acquire studios. They're very much internal first party teams. And then we were like, oh, and then Brad was like, oh, they acquired them because they wanted them to maximize what the Switch could do, which then made me and Brad speculate that okay, they're probably gonna run this thing until it dies, and we finally reached that point. But like, I think that's what Nintendo wanted because they couldn't do that with the GameCube, right? They couldn't do it with the Wii U. They did it with the Wii. The Wii ran for, I think, like 6 years almost, right? Until like, we were like, all right, cool, man. This whole peripheral thing is, the gimmick has kind of like worn off a bit. And now we're here. And I think the Switch 2, like, for anyone who's expecting, you're not like, it's not like Sony or Microsoft. You're not getting like mid-year refreshes. If they come out with the Switch 2 Pro, they're not going to call it the Switch 2 Pro. It's going to be like the, Switch 2 Labo Deluxe Edition or something. The Switch 2 OLED. We went away from the LCD. The OLED's back, baby. I wonder what the storage is going to be like, right? Because Switch games are relatively small too, right?
Yeah. They're claiming for RAM it's 12 gigs, but I've seen others say in other articles 8, but I think it's going to lean towards 12.
12. That'd be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're just looking
to go from 4 to 8 would be a minimal change, I think.
Yeah.
For Nintendo to do so, I would hope they go to 12.
I mean, I imagine the price difference is not that great. Like, I'm sure they're using some proprietary modular,
right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, more than likely they're gonna do what Sony did with Nvidia and was it Nvidia or AMD? I think it was AMD, where they worked with them and like created their own pretty much like chip or core or whatever. Like, that's essentially what Sony did. And Mark Cerny straight up said like that's why the SSD for the PlayStation is still faster. It's like it's still more efficient than some of the most modern SSDs that we have. It's really weird. But but yeah, I think once again, it's got the Switch is so old that it has to be a leap. Like
Yeah,
it
has
would
to be.
it would be so weird if it was like, here's Mario Kart 8.5, guys, and the Infinite Pass. All right, no, the Infinite Pass, the pass would be separate. You still have to pay.
Yeah, right.
Everybody gets Mario Kart, but the pass we can't do it. It's like fucking ordering a
They
hot
don't
dog.
believe in
It's
discounts.
like ordering a hot dog. I
You have
can't
to subscribe to the subscription.
Hey, free hot dogs for life. I can't do sodas though. No drinks. No drinks. But yeah. No, I would say like it's nice to be ambitious. I was kind of like surprised because I know Brad, you and I, we love the Switch. Jackie, I know you love the Switch too because you really like fucking like Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was a really fun game.
You know, once again, like they just we're just at the point where like you guys can only do so much with these titles, and it's not for a lack of trying, lack of creativity, their teams, but it's like, don't you want your teams like more freedom, right, to be able to like create these massive immersive worlds? Like I would love to see like a new Mario Galaxy. I would. But I would just not like Nintendo to like, you know, the Switch 2 version of Tropic Freeze for Donkey Kong. It's like, dude, just put out a new Donkey Kong Country. No. Best we can do is Banjo-Kazooie, but not the one you like.
Banjo-Tooie.
Banjo-Tooie. Oh, Christ.
Oh, the bongo drum game.
Yeah.
The Donkey Kong
Oh, yeah.
drum off, whatever. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but
now the Switch can use more peripherals. That'd be funny if the Switch 2's biggest draw is that you could use more outside peripherals. It's a very like the Switch 2 now you can hit with bongos. It's like, have you played the Switch 2 piano? It's like, I hate this shit, dude. Okay. Now that we've got the wish list stuff out of the way, I told Brad that you better have some conspiracy theories. Now, let's not get too crazy here. I don't need Nintendo randomly wandering onto this video and being like, who the hell is this dude? They send a guy to his house and Brad just disappears.
be like, how do you know our secrets?
They took Brad last night. They took him in the middle of the night. We don't know where he is. He's dead. I'm like, there is what? I'm like, what Brad are you talking about? Brad is gone. All right. So what do you got, Brad?
All right. So we've already mentioned the first one. I really think it's just PlayStation 4 hardware that's being e-wasted out of, being recycled into non-e-waste. That's my first one. Second one, I would not be, this is really not a conspiracy theory. This is just, I would not be surprised if you could play the Game Pass on the Switch too.
Ooh, you think Microsoft's going to have something, a partnership with this? I mean, there's already a partnership between.
If that happens and Call of Duty can be played on there, then Nintendo is just going to be unstoppable.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to stream it, big dog.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would definitely be a streaming, esque thing. But
you're gonna stream it at 600p.
But with modern, more modern hardware, the streaming experience might be acceptable.
Might be better.
Probably not for Call of Duty. I probably wouldn't say that far, but like, I think a lot of titles would work really well on the Switch too. That's just my opinion. I know
especially for $400. That's a bargain. That's a huge steal.
I could honestly, I could see Microsoft pitching that more than Nintendo accepting it, but it's just hey, I just think that'd be a cool kind of collab type deal.
I would not be shocked if I would now to your point, I would not be shocked if Game Pass is on the Switch too. I wouldn't, because they are reestablishing there's a relationship. Like, I think
exactly. I know that there is, like, I'm not gonna say they team up against PlayStation, but it's like they're trying to show that they are more hospitable than Sony is. So it's like, I would not be surprised if they just get a little slice of the pie and then just let Xbox go wild on the Switch. That's number one. Number two is the Switch 2 will actually just be two original Switches in a trench coat.
Put them back to back together. They're just glued together.
Well, no, so I was thinking more of the dock looks like a toaster, and you just slap both of them down and you like combine the power of two of them.
That would be,
and then boom,
that would be the funniest shit. But instead, when you slap it down, it says GameCube 2. Oh shit! The GC is back, baby.
Actually, I was thinking about this. I would really like it if you like remove the controllers and then the dock looked like the original Nintendo, where you like slide it in like a VCR and have to press it down. I think that'd be cool.
What
You'd
is
also have
wrong
more
with you?
room. I don't know. That's just that's a little weird piece.
What the fuck?
Um,
Okay, dude. I mean, sure.
um,
I like the NES as well. I've always loved that design, by the way. I think the NES
yeah.
design's amazing.
Uh,
Did you write stuff down?
no, I didn't. I was just brainstorming for like the last hour before we started. I'm
Oh my god.
what absurd things can I think of? Um,
Arms 2 is going to be a launch title, bro. Put that
ooh,
down right now.
Yeah.
And
That's very
one of the
possible.
peripherals is like you're gonna get like little noodle arms that are gonna come with it, but that's how you have to play the game. So you have to slot it in, right, and then you have to swing your arms around like this. As you're playing.
Sounds dangerous.
Just swinging at
We're
your
gonna
wife. Get out of here.
We're gonna get Tetris XD.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Like, we're bringing back Tetris, boys. Yes.
And honestly, I was trying to think of like an exclusive that
Half-Life
I'm not gonna
3.
say I'm not I'm not saying I'm not saying that all of their existing titles couldn't look better, but I was like most of their like like really their art style is not very like high fidelity
It's not.
or high detailed.
It's really not meant to be. It's like
And
this really unique cartoony style. You know what I
like
mean?
other than Zelda and maybe Fire Emblem, it's like everything else. It could definitely look better. It could look sharper, but it's like I was trying to think of because Dragon Quest isn't it's not an exclusive anymore. It used to be, I believe, a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
But uh,
Back
like
when
I was trying to
back when we were young, really young.
because I know I played 7 on the PlayStation 2, so it would have to have been before that. Um, Paper Mario would probably look. I mean, he could get even more paper-like. It's crazy. But I think that's it. I really couldn't think of any like crazy, you know.
It's gonna be 4D.
Oh,
You can
I wouldn't
smell
be so.
games.
Oh, dude. Oh, Princess Peach. um, I'm trying to think like what would kind of be like the earth-shattering announcement. I think I would probably venture like a game that a franchise I haven't seen in a long time. Let me try to think here.
Excite
Oh,
Bike.
oh, dude, they
Excite
do a
Bike makes a
Kirby.
comeback. Oh my
They do
god.
they do a Kirby MMO.
Watch Kirby.
Kirby
Watch.
MMO.
They would do Kirby, dude. It's really funny when Nintendo like reaches to like one of the titles that you're just like, oh, I didn't know like they had that big of a fan base, and they're like, yeah, man, we don't care. You guys will like. I'm telling you, there's like Kirby's like a staple of Nintendo. I understand that, like it's one of the pillars, right? But it's like anytime like Kirby gets a lot of love, I'm like, God, you guys made like a whole Kirby action game? Like, what are we doing here? God damn. Yeah, I want Yoshi to have his own thing. I want Baby Mario. That's what I want. I want Baby Mario 3 or whatever the fuck it was, like Yoshi's World or something like that.
But it's first person.
But it's first person with machine guns. I want F-Zero. Oh, dude. Well, they're not gonna do it because Mario Kart, man. But imagine like Nintendo just doing like a big F you to everyone. It's like, yeah, you guys like Mario Kart? We got F-Zero as well. Like they have so many franchises they can just pull from.
Wave Runner.
And you get the Wave Runner like peripheral with it. Instead of having that big arcade screen, you have like the little Switch.
You use the Joy Cons to control the.
Oh shit, that'd be funny. Dude, Star Fox. Can they make a good Star Fox game, please? I think
they did once.
I think the last good Star Fox game was like Star Fox, the first one.
Original.
Original. I didn't think the one that was for the GameCube was that bad. Nobody remembers it, but it was like for some reason you were on like a dinosaur planet and Star Fox beat a lot of people up and it was really good. Super Mario Sunshine 2? Why not, Nintendo? Where is it?
Like, because it's not the early 2000s anymore.
It's been crazy how that game was not liked. I really loved Super Mario Sunshine, and I think that it should make a comeback just for no reason at all but to satisfy me. trying to think. I think like they should do a Link to the Past for Legend of Zelda. That'd be huge. Listen, Hello Kitty's Adventure is out on Steam, I think now, and I think that they should drop an animal. Oh no, what's shit? They should drop like they have Hello Kitty Adventure 1 for PC, but Hello Kitty Adventure 2 is on the Switch 2 only. It's a Switch 2 exclusive. It would just explode.
I don't know.
I do hope they come out with an Animal Crossing too. They've been talking about doing it.
What's crazy is that Animal Crossing, I think, sold like 23 million copies.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous number, right? Like numbers that only Nintendo can pull. Okay. And they were like, yeah, cool, man. That was 4 years ago, really. Like, we're not doing that again. That was for COVID. That was a little gift for y'all. Go fuck yourself. But that would be huge too. Like the Switch 2 comes with Animal Crossing, right? All right. No, any more conspiracy theories before we get to the we do a brief discussion.
No,
about Jack.
There's too much speculation right now to really, make any cool conspiracy theories because anything's game pretty much at this point, right?
And that's going to be okay. Yeah, 100%.
It might be, Japan's attempt to take over the world. I don't know. There's just a lot of
world domination. I mean, why not? But yeah, okay. Well, we'll put a pin in that, and we'll wait till April whenever the announcement comes out. We'll do like a reaction to it,
and then it'll just be really depressing for me because they'll add nothing that I want in it. But it's okay.
If you happen to watch this episode, leave us a comment on like what you want, what's your wish list for the Switch 2, because right now I want to pivot to Jack because we're doing Down the Rabbit Hole.
Oh my god!
And Jack made a recommendation for an anime. Jack, can you tell us all what the recommendation is? I just want to get this out of the way. No one ever stays to this part of the podcast. I watch the numbers, but if they do, it would be.
Where's it at?
Brad, you know what it was?
A terrified teacher of
at the Ghoul School.
At the Ghoul School. So Jack made this recommendation, and Brad and I think we watched the first episode practically at the same time, and Brad goes, "Did you watch what Jack put out?" And I said, "I did." And I went, "I don't know what to tell him." And I can't remember who said it. I was like, I said, should we give Jack another shot to like shoot over another anime? And you were like, no, he needs to live with this indignity. So I'm going to give Jack, I think I'm going to give you an opportunity right now. Do you want to stick with this anime? Which,
no.
If you haven't,
I'm going to talk about it regardless.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's fine. No, I'm not blaming you. I just thought it was hilarious
I know.
If there's a leader,
my method to this madness is I'm trying to get something. When I try to pick these animes, I'm trying to pick something that's not like talked about all over the internet,
right?
So then we know everything about it, and something that none of us have ever seen.
Right. No, 100%. I'm not.
But you don't have to pick the worst one, though.
I'm not. Oh my god, I don't know how that keeps happening.
I'm not against it. I don't know how that thing has a score of like 4.5. I'm like, what are you guys watching? I don't know what you guys like.
It's weird because it is somewhat funny, but I don't know who the target audience. I can't tell if it's like a kid show. Because it's got some really weird scenes in it, and it's like I don't think a small child should watch this. But then there's like this goofy like kindergarten music in the background the entire time. It just makes no sense.
It's one of those things where I feel like, I feel like Jack, I feel like if there's a leader in the clubhouse for like mulligans when it comes to anime, Jack is that guy leading the clubhouse. And like, I don't want to shit on you too bad because like, I know what you're trying to do, man. You're trying to like,
spice it up.
Spice it up a little bit. You're like looking at a poster and be like, it's not that bad. And I'm like, man, maybe just pick something you've like watched at least the first episode. My recommendation moving forward for all of us, and I'll tell Chiba this too, is that if we're going to recommend something and it's like something we haven't seen, you have to have at least watched the first episode to have been intrigued by it. And if you have not watched the first episode, I don't fucking trust you. I just want you to know that right now. Now, I know Brad Brad would literally, he's probably saying like we should just stick with it because it'd be funny and it would be us just trashing you the entire time. I don't want to do that though because Chibi may play the angel, but we have watched your anime before and she's like, what is Jack doing? So here's the thing. Here's the thing, because Chibi would agree with me. So Brad would be like, I want Jack to suffer. Me and Chibi would probably say we want you to choose. So we're gonna give you the opportunity to choose another anime. You don't have to do it right now. You can wait.
Okay.
Obviously you have to choose quickly because that's gonna be the next episode. But you don't have to tell us on the show. But I just thought it was funny and I wanted to bring it up because Brad was straight up like wanting to murder you on this one, dude. He was like, "What is this dude doing?"
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me because I was like, maybe there's just this anime thing.
Brother, I watched
maybe
it.
It's not.
I watched the first episode and I was like, "What the fuck is?"
I want y'all to know that these shows that I choose are shit I've never seen. Period.
Brother, you're like, I am not saying that you need to be a connoisseur of anime.
Oh, I know.
You don't need to be a snob. You don't need to be like me, okay? Or even Brad now. Brad's like he watches everything. But I mean, like, even we're cool with the mainstream shit too, dude. Like we're completely fine with it. And there's a bunch of listen, there's new stuff out too. That if you want to, like, they have we're about 4 or 5 episodes into that you want to watch and talk about, we can do that as well. Just let me know. All right. We just wanted to bring this up because it was really, really funny. All right.
My next pick is also going to be somewhat unorthodox, but it is funny. I have enjoyed it for some odd reason. But anyways,
I'm looking forward to it. You haven't let me down, Brad. Jack has another story. Anyway, that's gonna be our video. That's gonna be our podcast episode. We're switch to wishlist, and then if you stay to the end, you watch Jack. Listen. He's a good person, I think. But that's going to do it for this episode of Pixelated Thoughts. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you happen to catch this video. Who wants to do the outro? Brad, do the outro.
Why me? This is Jack's episode.
That's enough out of you. Bye, everybody.